Excited about the win over Texas Tech, as I said the other night. Felt like we really took some big steps from the bye week, and after getting a chance to watch the film, you could see some of those positive steps. Still certainly a lot of things that we need to do better as a football team, and so you're continuing to be excited about the progress we're making in a lot of areas. Also, still continue to be I guess it's just our nature as coaches, but disturbed by some of the things that we're not doing good enough yet that we got to do good enough a lot quicker. And so a big sense of urgency certainly going into this week, both for just our improvement as a team and then I think playing a very much improved Kansas squad that's pretty clear to everybody after the way they've played early in the season. So it'll be a challenge. Road conference games are never easy, and this is a group that's got some really experienced players, highlighted by Mike Lee, the safety we've been playing against seems like forever. It's a tremendous player in their back end. And there's a couple players there defensively, especially in the secondary, that really stand out. Offensively, obviously the two backs, we know those guys, know how explosive those two are, and certainly getting Puka back offensively has made a big difference for them, and you've seen them really do some nice things with him and the other back that are pretty impressive. And so Coach Miles has got those guys playing well and improving quickly, which is no surprise given his track record. So excited to get up to Lawrence and play this game on Saturday. That's it.
Through 4 games, Lincoln, what's your thoughts about your defense, and do you think you've really been tested yet?
I think we're playing harder, and I think we're playing hard and we're playing pretty fast. The other thing I think that's been much improved is our coverage has been pretty good in the majority of the games. We haven't given up a ton of throw game, and even the ones that have been completed on us, for the most part, have been pretty contested. And so been proud of that. We're playing a lot of people. I think guys are getting better fast. We're still not playing nearly as consistent as we need to. The effort, the toughness mentality, you're seeing that. I thought this last week was probably the highest percentage of a game that we've been able to do that at a pretty good level. But we're still making too many mistakes to play as good as we're capable of. And so, when you get playing great on any side of the ball, you combined a great effort, a great mentality with elite execution too. And right now we haven't been able to find that. We've been able to cover up some of the mistakes that we've made because we played pretty hard, and we've had a lot of high effort plays, and that's part of playing great defense. That's a huge part. And but as the season goes on, as we go through, we've got to continue to improve our execution, and all 3 groups have got to be able to do it together. This last week was an example where we did some pretty good things on the back end, maybe one of our better games as a whole on the back end. We didn't play very good on the defensive line, and so those, you got to have it all to play great. I mean, you just do. And we've had some games early in the season where maybe the defensive line was our best, and we were just okay maybe in the secondary, just okay at linebacker. So we're just fighting to be able to combine it all. And there's stretches where we do that, but not enough right now. So, I'm excited about the way we're playing. I'm excited about, certainly how we've played in some of the short yardage situations. I think a great example the other night, and I know I brought up in the presser after, was, Delaire running down the ball carrier, and then we have a goal line stand right after that. I think that shows a little bit of the psyche. So, we've played some teams, I think, that have some very good offensive players. Will we play better offenses going forward? Yes, but we're planning on getting better too.
Lincoln, because of injuries and things, you had to move some guys around in the offensive line a little bit. Walker got his first start. How did that look for you? And do you think Ely's coming back this week?
Yeah, we've had to play some different lineups there. Some of it's been just the natural competition ongoing with so many new guys and trying to find that best lineup. Some of it has been injury related. I thought it was one of our more consistent games there. Nobody just played outstanding, but nobody played bad. I mean, it was solid. Did some decent things in protection. I thought, Bray handled it pretty well for his first start, especially, a conference game like that and all the importance in that game. I thought Bray did a nice job. I thought Swinson played one of his better games. So we had some, we played Tyrese obviously at right tackle and was excited about him being able to move out there on a kind of short notice and he did a pretty good job. So yeah, I mean, we're developing. Kind of reminds me of a few years ago. We had a couple people early, maybe was it 2016 season where we went down to TCU. We were playing a bunch of guys, and we ended up kind of finally settling in and getting some continuity, which was good. But all these guys having to play multiple positions there is benefit to it. It's tough when you go through it, but as you go on down, it makes them better players. It gives us more versatility. Ely's still, day to day, week to week. I think it's a possibility for this week, but it's not a certainty right now.
Brandon Drum.
Yeah, Lincoln. First, the defensive front. What's your thoughts on them? And then it's a kind of two-part question. I'm talking to Jalen and Neville. They both obviously played pretty well this past week, but they focused quite a bit on their mistakes more than anything when we were talking to them. How do you go about kind of balancing that with them to make sure that they kind of, I guess, like what they've done, like the good parts of it, not just focusing on the bad?
Yeah, the defensive front, like I said, it was. I'm not going to sit here and say it was awful, but it was not. It was not to the standard we expect on the defensive front. Just a few too many mistakes combined with some opportunities that we let slip past, and just we've got a high expectation there, and it was, we played hard. The effort was there, but it was not near the level we're capable of playing or that we expect to play. So that's got to improve quickly. And then regarding that, I mean, we celebrate wins. Doesn't matter who they're against. Doesn't matter by how many points. Winning is still winning at the end of the day, and everybody else has good coaches and scholarship players, and they practice and game plan and work pretty hard too. So we do not take wins for granted. Normally the outside takes care of all the padding on the back that we need to do, so we try to handle the other parts. So, I mean, we got high expectations, and we've been through enough of these to know you don't reach those goals without continuing to improve and continuing to have a hunger. And our guys have got to understand, there's things we're doing we're excited about, but our focus has got to remain on the steps we got to take to get better. No matter what we do on a Saturday, it's always about getting better in the next step, and our team needs to have eyes towards that, just like the staff does.
Okay, now John Hoover.
Lincoln, we talked a little bit on Saturday about Jalen and his progress and his growth and some of the nuanced throws he made and reads and things like that. With the data sit with him now, with the data assess it yourself, how do you assess that with a little more time to look back on? Even better? Or?
I would say pretty similar to what we talked about the other day. I mean, it was there were some things that were better. There were some things that have got to continue to get better. Each week kind of exposes. It shows you new exciting things, but every challenge kind of exposes different things that you're going to have to continue to improve on throughout the year. It's kind of ever evolving, and so there were some things that happened in this game that exposed a few areas that Jalen's got to work on and he's got to get coached better on, and that's, I would say, pretty normal. So yeah, I mean there's a lot to like, but that's his focus, my focus, coaching him right now, and the rest of our quarterbacks is the steps we're going to have to continue to take as these new challenges come up.
Quick follow-up, do you have an update on Kennedy Brooks?
Yeah, he's doing good. All good. He'll play this week.
Sam Mays.
Hey, Coach, Kenneth Murray's always been a freakish athlete. It's very easy to see, but he's just different as far as his attitude, the way he's seen the game. He's even intimidating at the podium. Talk about how far he's come the last year.
That's good. Yeah, it's a good question. He's grown a lot. I give a lot of credit to him. I mean, he's like a lot of young guys, man. Guys that earn the opportunity to play early, they're going to have their ups and downs. I don't care who they are, how talented they are. And Kenneth's had his share of both, in his first 2 years here. But I think it's taught him a lot, not only just about the game, but it's also just the mindset you have, the way you have to play, the focus, the intensity, and it just has to stay at such a high level. And he's doing a great job of kind of keeping it at the same level each day, each week, and it's showing up on the field. And then I give a lot of credit to our staff. I mean, they've put him in a position, even with a new defense, of where he's confident in what he's doing, and he's playing extremely fast and aggressive and physical, and you don't see any hesitation in his game. So a combination of Kenneth getting better through the years and learning from his experiences, and our staff has done a great job with him and our players.
Eric Bailey.
Coach Jeremiah Hall really has seemed to accept that tradition of the H-back position. He mentioned a lot of the former players that really inspired him. Can you just talk about his development this year, and how much did the fall camp competition with Braden really increase his game even more?
It did increase his game, and I would say that competition is still ongoing and will be, throughout the year here. So it's put both those guys in a position where they got to continue to get better, and so that's been great. It's been great to have a little more depth and competition there than maybe we've had in the past. Yeah, Jeremiah's done a nice job. He's made a lot of the plays that have come to him. Showed some of his playmaking ability, of course, on the 4th and 12 there the other day. That was really cool to see a young guy make such an important play in an important moment. He's got a good natural feel and overall knowledge of what we're doing, and there's a lot of things that we can do with him. And similar to Dimitri Flowers, younger in his career, or at the earlier part of his career, is he mentally he gives you the opportunity to do a bunch, and he's just going to physically get better and better. And so his best ball's ahead of him, but he's certainly done some nice things for us.
Were you familiar with him when you were at ECU, and did you see that versatility young that he was available to do?
I remember seeing him as a young player when I was there. Knew pretty quickly he might be out of our league to recruit there if he kept progressing. And then I would say certainly some of our connections to that area, we already knew when I went out to recruit him, we already knew his high school coach, kind of the guys in that area, so we're able to get some pretty good feedback on the kind of player he was, and it was pretty obvious to us that he fit exactly what we were looking for.
Lee Benson.
Coach, talking to Jalen, he mentioned that Ian McIver, a crucial member of the team, really impressed by him. Can you talk about his development, how he's gotten to the point where you're playing in meaningful snaps?
It's been important for this team. It's you always have those guys. I sit up here and talk about it before spring ball or before fall camp, that you're always counting on a few guys maybe emerging that maybe you don't expect, but that really just kind of take the opportunity and run with it. And he's been one of those guys. I mean, start of spring, don't know that we would have ever even thought about putting him in a game, and now, as you've seen, we got no hesitation to do it. He has worked his tail off. He's a strong kid. He's learned our offense. Our guys trust him. Our guys don't blink when we put him in the game, and so our unit continues to run at a high level even when he's in there. And so he's done a great job. Really proud of him, and getting some depth there in the interior offensive line behind Creed, the rest of those guys, just kind of with where our numbers are at on the offensive line and some of the injuries we've had. I mean, that's been really, really important. So, really extremely proud of him. Glad we have him.
Tyler Palmatier.
Lincoln, how much Jaden Hazelwood's your third leading receiver now, and how much of that has been his emergence in the first 4 games, and how much of it was pretty apparent to you that he could make this big of an impact this early in his career?
He really made a big jump in fall camp. he was limited some when he got here. He was really out of shape when he got here in spring. He also got injured in spring ball, missed a decent chunk of spring ball, and so he was definitely behind coming out of spring. I mean, you saw flashes, but I mean he's looked like a different guy here from kind of fall camp on. He's in shape, more confident. He's a great example of. I don't know that he would be making some of the plays that he's made up to this point without having come in midterm. I mean, he's one of those guys that it really served well, and he's taken advantage of it. He's a conscientious kid. It means a lot to him. And then he's been a good practice player, but tends to even be a little bit better in games, and has been, he's a confident kid when he steps on the field and a competitor. So, he's done a nice job. I mean, all those young guys have, and, he's had some opportunities to make some plays, and he's made the majority of them.
What is he good at in games, and what has kind of enabled that comfortability between he and Jalen thus far?
He's pretty aggressive in games. You always look for that with young guys. Do they get in? Are they tentative? Are they aggressive? And he's an aggressive blocker. Plays hard. He's done a pretty good job learning all the different things that we do with those guys. He's caught the ball well. He's really done a nice job after the catch. So he's going to continue to. He's like kind of all those young skill players right now. Where he's at right now and where you hope they can be, it's a big gap. I mean, he's got so far to go, but it's exciting to see him making some of the plays he's making right now.
Chris Billow.
Yeah, Lincoln, 4 games in, means we've reached the 4-game red shirt rule. Look at guys like David Agwebu, Marcus Stripling, they've played 4 games, they haven't had a lot of reps. Is this that week where you have that comment, that talk a lot more with a lot of players, and has anyone at this point already been determined you want to sit them out the rest of the way?
Yeah, no, you'll have a few this week. I mean, not all the guys have played in every game. We do have a few that have played in the games, and I would, for the most part, the guys that have played in each and every game, we're planning on playing the majority of those guys. We've got a few guys that's still up in the air, that we may potentially, hold on to if the situation presents itself, and so yeah, we've only got, I would say, maybe 2 to 3 guys kind of in that maybe category. The majority of our guys, we know that we're going to try to stay under the 4 if possible, or we know that we're going to play them. And so we've got a couple that we've had conversations with. They know who they are, that we're going to let it play out. We're going to see, if the right situations present itself, being able to, going ahead and playing them, feeling like they're ready. And then if the situation presents itself where we can redshirt them, that we would like to. So the 4 game is a benchmark, but it's again, those are conversations you have kind of throughout the year now.
Ryan Aber.
Lincoln, I know that you expected offensive success, but you look at the yards per play numbers up well north of 10 yards per play. How sustainable is that? And 2, I know you're never surprised about successes of individual plays. You're trying to dial up something at work. But are you ever surprised about the cumulative results and the way that lines out with the numbers that you've been putting up?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you may not believe me. I really don't pay a lot of attention to the numbers. I mean, our staff's been doing it together long enough that honestly we know how we play. Like after watching it, a lot of times after the game, I couldn't even tell you probably within 100 yards of how many yards a quarterback threw for. It's like I just don't think of it that way. Honestly, the first time I look at this stat book, game book, it's like Sunday evening when we shoot my show in there with Dean, and I got to have something to do during those couple of those dead minutes. So I occasionally flip through the book then. But I mean, I look at the post game deal so I can answer some questions and know what I'm talking about. And other than that, I don't look at the stats much offensively. They can be misleading at times. Again, we can watch the film and just know how we play. And I know that's why I know sometimes we sit up and say, want to improve this and that, and then you go look at the stats, you're like, really? And we just look at it different. I mean, I think we have a feel for, what our best looks like, and we're not anywhere near that. And again, the stats don't always tell the whole story. So I don't know what they suggest. I mean, everybody's going to get their own opinions from it. I know we can play a whole lot better, and we're going to need to. There's great competition coming up. People are going to evolve. Other people are going to get better. We are going to have to play our best ball in the future, no doubt.
Yeah, asked you Big 12 media days about Jalen at the line of scrimmage and making calls. Seems like he's gotten more comfortable with that through 4 games. Where do you feel like he's at in the comfort in your offense?
Definitely getting better. I mean, nothing replaces, going out there and doing it. I think, just more ownership of it. I think he's starting to feel, maybe more in charge, more in command of it. Being more comfortable, communicating better. I mean, all those things make your job easier. And so I think it's becoming a little more natural for him. So it's still a fight every week to get him better and get him ready. But he's certainly come a long ways, and he needs to, as far as he's come from day one to now, he needs to make a similar jump between now and the end of the season.
Lincoln, I know you bring Jalen in, and you know what kind of quarterback he is, but he hasn't run your offense. How much did you just look at him and say, I know what this kid's intangibles are, whatever he can't do here, maybe that makes up for it, or hard work, or whatever? And I guess just the last 3 quarterbacks you had, how big a key is that to your success, just the intangibles of
Well, the intangibles are they're high up there on my list, certainly. I mean, that's I don't think you can replace that. I don't think you can get around that. I mean, your quarterback's got to have that. I mean, the pulse of the team, so much of that comes from the quarterback. I mean, it just does, just the way this sport works. And so I think, whatever you want the personality of your team to be, you better look at that guy pretty early, because he's going to tell you a lot. And so, no, I mean, his experience, his handling adversity, all the intangibles that you figured a guy like that would bring. I mean, that was no doubt a factor, but there's a lot of guys that would bring a lot of intangibles over here that would have no chance in hell of playing quarterback for us. So I mean, you had to see the skills too, and the skills. I mean, I felt watching him that all the skills were there to be a really, really good player. And there was really good intangibles there. So I kind of looked at it the other way. I didn't say, well, what can he not do? I kind of looked at it and said, like, why could he not work here? And I didn't have a very good reason. So I figured that was a pretty good indicator.
Eric Bailey.
Lincoln, California passed the Fair Pay to Play Act, which gives players a chance to profit from their name and likeness. Do you have any thoughts on how that could impact the game?
Well, it's going to impact it, if it does in fact happen. I know it's several years before it goes into effect. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know. I don't know that I've put a ton of thought around it right now. We've got a little time to do that, but we got to be real careful. We got a pretty good thing here, so we're going to have to be, hopefully. All these individual states, all the different people making decisions, governing bodies, our government, anybody that's involved, I would hope that for the sake of sports and all that's good with college sports, that everybody didn't just think about themselves or trying to win a vote or this or that. I hope everybody really thinks about the big picture view of this, because this is it's a big deal, obviously. So, we got a great thing going. Hope we don't screw it up.
Sam Brown.
Coach, obviously I don't want to make any assumptions in terms of the Kenny Brooks situation about where he is in terms of recovery, but given the situation, how big of a week is this for a guy like Ramondre Stevenson, who's been fighting for reps and slowly gaining more reps as the season has gone on? And what confidence do you have, given what you've seen so far, that he's going to be able to take advantage of that opportunity?
Yeah, I've got high confidence in Ramondre. He's done a great job learning. I think each week we get more and more comfortable with him executing our entire offense. I would say week one, that was, let's see how he's going to do with it all. We've been able to force feed him more and more, both in games and behind the scenes, and he's handled it well. So, all three of those backs right now, I got no reservation, playing them, doing anything in our offense with those guys. They all three know it. They all three, ready to play. They're fresh right now. They're running well. So we got a good little trifecta back there right now, and Ramondre's done a great job picking it all up.
John Hoover. Jalen came in earlier and he said, I'm under the weather. His voice is obviously busted or whatever. I'm sure he's going to be fine for the game. You've been through this before where you had to get a quarterback through some kind of sickness, bigger stakes last time. But I'm curious from a communication standpoint, you talk to him, he talks to the team. If he doesn't have a voice on Saturday, how does that work? How do you adjust, or what do you do different?
Yeah, we've got kind of some contingency plans in place for it, just because it can happen. Like you said, we've dealt with it before, so I don't know that I'd go into great detail about it, but we got a plan to still be able to operate if we weren't able to talk.
Tyler Palmatier.
Lincoln, with what's transpired at the kicking position the last couple weeks, have you given any thought to reopening the competition on that spot, and who do you expect will play there Saturday?
As far as reopening it, to me, it's it's kind of always open. It's if you think somebody's doing a better job than the person you're playing with at any position, we're going to make that change. I do. Obviously, this situation presented Gabe an opportunity, and Gabe did well with it. There's no question about it. So we'll evaluate it as we go through the week, and just put the best guy out there that we think's ready to help us beat Kansas.
Did you? Oh, I'm sorry.
You went old school. He's getting a little entitled, Mike.
I was just curious because the kicking question, just watching Austin Seibert yesterday, he's had a good start. Did you maybe, since you could see so many of your players at once yesterday, did you take some time to watch Cleveland, Baltimore?
I saw the very end of it. We have recruits in and all that. I saw maybe the last two series of it, but it was pretty cool. Yeah, seeing a lot of Sooners on that field, and it was a heck of a game. So yeah, it was kind of one of those games like having a parent having a kid on each team. You're not really. You wish they could both win, but it's just fun to see all those guys out there making big plays and doing what we got to see them do here for so many years.
Shut up now.
George, go ahead.
Lincoln, what's your relationship with Les Miles like, and have you ever eaten a blade of grass like he has before?
No, there's a lot of things he's done that I've never done. I've enjoyed him. I didn't. We competed against each other some here early in this league when I first got my start at Texas Tech, and then obviously well aware of all he's done in college football. And then I've gotten to know him just a couple of the head coaching events here through the last few years. We ended up sitting by each other at the Big 12 coaches meetings. Which is a big deal because those things go on and on and on. So we spent a lot of quality time together. He was fun. I enjoyed him. He's got a kind of a fresh, unique perspective on a lot of things. Very, very personable. I enjoyed visiting with him. I'm sure we'll get to know him better here, over the years as this thing goes on. But he's got a lot of respect for what he's done. Obviously all the stops he's been. He's been highly successful. Has a unique way of attacking it and has no mind and doesn't really care about the outside, just does what he thinks is best, and you got to give him credit, and he certainly made an impact in this Kansas program in a short amount of time.
All right, unless Kerry has another, we'll close it out today.
It appears that you're playing a little bit slower than you have been playing in your first few years here. Why?
Yeah, some of it honestly has been that the games have unfolded a little bit that way. We've been able to get get some leads in most of these games, and so your overall play numbers and all that are going to be a little lower. And then we have hit a couple of big plays, and so that always, kind of like last year at times, that's going to limit your play number a little bit too. But we've something we want to continue to improve on. We've got the capability to play fast, and at times, in the future, we're going to need to be able to play fast. So we got to keep developing it, because not every game's going to play out just like these first four have. And so it's just, I think, more of that been a mix of a couple big plays offensively, and then, like I said, that we've played the backups and ran it a little bit more as we've gotten some of the leads. But it's still part of who we are, and like I said, there's going to be plenty of times that come up this year, and we're going to need it. We're going to need to be good at it.